and in-studio guest Jordan Miller, who starred here locally, played hoops at Loudoun Valley High School, was the Virginia High School League's Class 4A Player of the Year. Then he went on to play at Mason, ended up at University of Miami playing for our guy, Coach Larinaga.
Went to the Final Four.
Now he's with the Clippers, and he starred in the Summer League, averaged over 25 points a game. Jordan, welcome.
Appreciate you guys.
What's up, Jordan?
Jordan, we had a little fun with
man.
him just before we jumped on air. Jason was hyping up. So he's from Middleburg.
Yep.
And Jason started hyping up, I love going to Middleburg. And he hyped up his spot, the Oyster Bar.
Yeah.
And Jason was raving about it.
I love Oyster Bar. It's cool.
And
it's a cool little
then-
environment.
I don't want to say Jordan, he didn't have a super high ringing endorsement, but it's only because what he had.
Well, I
he
asked him
didn't
what he
try
had.
anything on the menu.
Well, because Oyster Bar's obviously got oysters.
Yeah.
But I'm not an oyster guy, but I love their fish. I love their salmon.
Yeah.
I love their salads. They got good stuff. And I said, "What'd you get?" He goes, chicken tenders and fries. I said, "You might as well just go to Wendy's."
Yeah. Maybe I'll go back and give it another shot. You know what I'm saying?
Now that you're in the NBA, are you cognizant of your diet? Are you one of these guys that's in the diet, or you just eat whatever at this point?
That's a good question. It's just a working battle. I try to eat as healthy as I can, just to make sure that on the court, my performance is, matching with what I'm eating. So it's definitely something I'm still trying to improve on. But
Do the teams monitor it? Because there are players in the NBA that are famous for just eating junk food all the time. Even in the NFL, DK Metcalf says he has one meal a day and just eats like gummy bears and stuff like that.
He's a freak. He's a freak.
But I mean, you can't be a high-level athlete. You just keep stuffing gummy bears down your throat.
But there are some that are
Definitely
freaks, and I'd imagine in the NBA there's a ton of freaks that have terrible diets.
yeah, I would say, they don't necessarily monitor it to where, they're tracking everything you're eating. You're a professional at that point, so it's up to you. But, it works. What works for you, you just kind of keep going with what works for you. So if you eat gummy bears, you eat gummy bears.
Like teams now, aren't they serving you guys like protein shakes as soon as you come off the court?
Yeah.
And they are trying to keep your nutrition at a certain point. They can't control it all the time when you guys are out on the road doing what you're doing. But I think teams are investing a lot of money in players that they're investing huge dollar amounts in.
Yeah, for sure. Like the options are definitely there. If you choose not to,
Right.
It's not that you can't. It's just more so a choice. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of money, I don't want to get into pockets too much,
Yeah.
but
I got
did
a question,
you get
too.
to reap the benefits of NIL money at Miami?
I
Because
got-
the football players definitely do.
Yeah. I would say like a part of like the whole pioneer of the NIL. So that year it was my fifth year because of COVID. We all got the extra year. I was like I did a little bit, but compared to what people are getting now.
Yeah.
Right.
And like some of the players, like when we went to the Final Four, we had a lot of younger guys who didn't get to play. And then when I left and I found out what they were making the next year,
Right.
and they didn't necessarily even get to get in the game, I was like, wow, But
You're like, do I have an extra year of eligibility? I'm going back. I need that NIL dip.
Yeah. But it was cool, and I think it's gonna. I wonder if it's gonna keep going up because it's crazy the numbers now. I have some teammates that are still in college, and it's ridiculous.
How different was Miami from George Mason? So you're at George Mason from Middleburg. George Mason's a suburban school, a lot of commuters. My brother graduated from University of Miami. It's a fun school. It's a great place to be. What was it like for you?
Yeah, I've been in Virginia basically my whole life, and so getting to Miami, I remember, by 10 o'clock here or in Virginia, lights are off. You see porch lights. And then getting to Miami and then it still being just as loud as it was in the daytime was like, it was crazy to me. And the ability to, everything's around, maybe you had to take a longer bit of a drive to get to what you want to get to, but just the amount of stuff that was nearby, it was like, wow, I couldn't even really describe it. You know what I mean?
Look at his eyes. You could tell.
Hold on. Getting back to the NIL. And I know it was kind of the wrong era for you. A couple more years in college, you're just killing it. There's a kid who transferred from Virginia Tech, Lynn Kidd, who's going to Miami this year. I don't want to say the number. I found out what he's getting, and I couldn't. I almost fell over.
Is it six figures?
I'm not going to.
It's seven figures.
I'm not going to get into it. Good player, but
Did
the
they
money
just get
he's
it?
getting, I couldn't believe it.
Do you just get it from a fund, Like when NIL first broke, I thought guys are gonna be doing like commercials for like Wingstop or something like that.
They don't need to do that. They just probably just shows up in their account. Like, I can't believe what's happening.
I feel like
here.
the rules are changing now. So now, so when I was there, right, each state had different rules.
Right.
So in Florida, the coaches couldn't help us get NIL, so they couldn't be a part of it at all.
Right.
So it was really up to us and like your brand, so to say, to get you your NIL deals.
Yeah.
And now it seems I'm not keeping up with it day to day, but now it seems more like I know in Florida the coaches can help now, and boosters can also help. So that was.
But did you have any deals? Like I remember, did you have any like restaurants or whatever that you did deals for?
I had a big deal with Life Wallet.
Okay.
His name was John Ruiz.
Oh, nice.
He was kind of like the very
John Ruiz. I know that name.
Yeah. So,
he's been involved for a few years.
Yeah, he was launching basically a company that allowed you to have all your medical like passed onto one app instead of having it somewhere else. So basically, if you got into an accident or something, the ambulance or the medical team can see all your prior medical history within an app. I thought it was a good idea, you know what I mean? But I was able to be a part of that. And that's how kind of my NIL journey started.
Nice.
So you balled out this summer.
Oh, Summer League killed it.
I appreciate it.
All right, explain what
you got ripped off. You should have been named the Summer League MVP. We'll stump for you. You're too nice. I can tell that you're not going to do it. You got robbed. You should have been the Summer League MVP.
You averaged 25 a game.
Yeah.
I mean, you balled out.
Yeah. A lot of work went in this summer. I knew I had to have like a big summer league. There's still stuff I'm trying to reach, goals I'm trying to reach, things I'm trying to prove.
Right.
And so to be able to have that hard work pay off, and like I was stressed, you know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, I don't want to do too much. And when people try to do too much, then your performance hinders. But at the same time, I was trying to show, everybody what I was capable of. So being able to go out and do what I did, I'm happy with it, but keep trying to just grow from it.
So your rookie season, you were a two-way player. Explain exactly what that means. So you didn't play for the Clippers, but a handful of games. Now the Clippers were loaded with veterans. The team is changing.
Yep.
Paul George is now in Philadelphia. Russell, the team has just changed
Russell's
a lot.
in Utah. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. Kawhi's still there when he plays. But last year, it was a team loaded with veterans that was trying to make a playoff push. But what did that mean for you? Like, how often do you practice with the club? How often are you with the G League team? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, I would say it was about 60-40, 60 G League, 40 like the big club, the Clippers. And basically how it works, the team that I was on, like you mentioned, we had we had 4 potential Hall of Fame, arguable
They're all
Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
They're not even arguable. They're all Hall of Famers.
Yeah. So with that being said, right, we're in championship mode with 4 Hall of Famers. You know what I'm saying? So they're really bought into pushing for the championship. And so what that means is some of the young guys, don't necessarily get a lot of playing time.
Were you comfortable joining a team like that? Like, what's that like?
Yeah.
What's it
When
like
you're a second
especially?
round pick. You're a second round pick, and you go up to James Harden. Does
Right.
he give you the time of day? Like,
Yeah, no, they're all cool dudes. Like, you know what I mean? Any questions you have, they'll answer it.
Right.
And stuff like that. But it was definitely like surreal because like a lot of these guys, right? I grew up watching NBA TV, and like before I would go to school, I'm watching a recap of a game, right? And it's them. And then being there and like seeing that they're real in a sense, you know what I mean? Like, they're real people, but like
Sure.
until you see someone in person, it's kind of like a different dynamic.
What's it like on a road trip with like you land in say New York City,
Right.
and then you make your way to the hotel? Is it just like like everybody knows you're there, and those huge Hall of Fame personalities are on your team?
Right.
Is it like a traveling circus being with those huge players on your team?
I would say our security does a good job of making everything like be low key. You know, we don't ever really go in the back of places or in the front of places. You kind of more incognito in a sense.
Right.
But there's definitely moments. Like when we're walking into the hotel, there's a little entourage, or like when we're going to the games, people know where we're at. But I wouldn't say a lot of people know where we're staying necessarily.
Right. Jordan, I got to ask you real quick. So the Wizards are going to go through some transition because of the arena, Cap One Arena, and Ted wanted to move it to Alexandria, and stuff happens. The city gave him a bunch of money, so he's going to redo it a little bit. Talk about the Clippers new dome, the Intuit Dome.
Yeah.
That I believe opens in like a month, right?
Yeah,
I think
less than a month.
Is it less than a month? So that's where the Clippers are playing this year.
Yep.
So you've been there.
I haven't. I was.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay.
Yeah, I was asked to be there the 30th.
Okay.
Which is, I think, was yesterday.
Yeah.
But I was coming out here to do.
Okay, got you.
know,
But
certain
what
stuff.
do you know about it? How nice it's going to be? I bet you the locker rooms are going to be stupid.
Did you see the video?
I haven't seen the video, but I hear it's
The
unbelievable.
tech is absurd.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be the best NBA arena for now. You know what I mean? Like the resources Steve Ballmer put into it. You know, he really cares about us, and knew that, you know, sharing the arena with the Lakers wasn't the most ideal thing.
Right.
And we always would say, like, it's the Lakers' home. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're just staying there. So to have our own arena and to see the tech, the locker room, I believe there's some pools there. I think the Clippers are setting the bar really high.
Yeah.
And I think eventually other teams will catch up to it. But I think for at least a good couple of years, we'll have the nicest arena.
It's like cool to be an LA Clipper now because you got the Intuit Dome, you got new logo and unis coming this season.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, Steve Ballmer is like this. He's got billions upon billions. He lavishes money on the players and the facility. So it's like cool to be a Clipper. Like when we were growing up, it wasn't cool to be an LA Clipper. Now it's actually cool.
So explain the locker room situation at the, is it called the Crypto.com arena?
Crypto Arena.
Where you shared with the Lakers? All right, so, and I know you haven't seen it yet, but just kind of from what you know, explain the locker room situation. How big is a locker room for the players in an older arena compared to what you think it will be in the Intuit?
I've seen the locker room.
Okay, what it's
look like.
How much bigger is it? A typical
Yeah, it's
locker room?
basically like I would compare it to like kind of like a walk-in closet. Not as much depth,
Right.
but you know, there's your initial locker, and then there's kind of like a side you can kind of pull over,
Right.
and it's like a little space, like a little
More privacy.
Yeah, like a hotel closet kind of
yeah.
vibe. You know what I mean? You got some shelves where you can put stuff, but
Right.
it's definitely a more personal experience each locker. You know what I mean? Versus it just being like, boom, you got a seat, you got
Right, and media can get to
you.
Yeah, so more privacy. In
Yeah,
the
more
room.
privacy for sure.
Jordan Miller's hanging out with us. He plays for the LA Clippers. Scored 25 points a game in the summer league. We'll ask him about his camp when we come back.
Hey, real quick, give a shout out to one of your former coaches at George Mason, actually at Maryland,
At
at Miami.
Miami.
Sorry, Coach Chris Caputo.
Yes, sir.
He's a buddy of mine. I know you obviously played for him, and I told him last night you were going to be on. And I said, hey, give me a couple questions I should ask him. And he said, ask him about playing Jabari Smith and to get to the Sweet 16. And I don't know what year that was, 22. And I just looked it up because I don't remember what Jabari did. Because Jabari was he number 3 pick in the draft?
He was the high pick.
Third. Yeah.
And Jabari Smith went 3 for 17 in the game because Jordy was
locking him down.
up.
Very nice.
And then, of course, you won. You beat Auburn that year. But props to you for that
Appreciate
performance.
it.
And
Appreciate
shout
it.
out to Coach Caputo.
Yes, sir.
Can I go back, though, to what it's like meeting some of those guys? So James Harden, people know him. First of all, what was it like first time that you had to check him in practice and he's trying to lull you with the dribbles? Because people see him like an average fan, like, he doesn't even look like he's in shape, but he's quick because he gets by everybody.
He's probably the player that impressed me the most seeing and playing against so far in my basketball career because he's just like a wizard with the basketball, right? He was asked to be a point guard for our team, but he led the league and was MVP in the NBA. So the fact that he could transition from being the leading scorer in the NBA to just being a point guard, it was that's hard to do. But as a person, right, like all these dudes, like from Russ, James, Kawhi, PG, they're all different personalities.
Sure.
But they're all, really cool dudes outside of basketball. And who I was really impressed with was Russell Westbrook. Like, he sometimes gets this bad narrative that, whatever, but he's probably the best teammate that I've ever had.
Wow.
He seems like he's ready to scrap like with fans. Like fans like start goofing on him from the stands. Like he'll get up in their face, man.
It seems like he's kind
He
of
doesn't
psycho.
take S from anybody.
Yeah,
Dude, I loved him when he was with the Wizards. I loved him as a player. In fact, my son, who's 17, in his bedroom, he's got posters, and he's got one of Westbrook, and I was like, damn, he got traded after a year.
Right. Yeah, no, but they're all great guys, and like, you know, whatever the media, you know, it's their job to push narratives. But, you know, I think as individuals and people, like, you know, they're all cool people.
Is Kawhi really quiet?
Yeah, he's definitely to himself.
Yeah, seems like it.
Yeah.
Have you been to the clubs with James Harden yet?
No, I'm not a really big club guy.
He's staying away from
Yeah,
that.
trying to stay away from
Smart,
it.
saving your money. I like it. I like that move.
But,
Because what did he give that one rapper? Like, I forget what they called
He
it.
gave him a honey bun.
A honey bun.
100K, right?
He just gave him 100.
Just gave him 100K.
Happy birthday.
I mean, I know you're not going to do that.
Yeah, nah.
You're not giving anybody
nah,
100K
nah.
right now.
At least not yet.
You need to get that guaranteed
Yes,
contract.
exactly,
That's what
exactly.
you're playing for.
Exactly.
Smart man.
Can you believe?
Save your money.
Can you believe the money right now? I mean, the TV deal that the NBA just signed, 11 years, was it 77 billion or something
No,
stupid?
like 7.6 billion.
I'm sorry, 7.6
Yeah.
billion. So the TV deals are outrageous. I can't believe the contracts to players that are, I mean, they're good players.
Yeah.
But they're making like 30 times more than Jordan ever did. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I could only imagine if, you know, some of the players we had back then were playing now, the money they would make.
I
would be
know.
insane.
I know. Can you
Yeah.
imagine what Magic or Jordan or Bird or those
Exactly.
guys would be
Yeah.
making? And, and they're going to keep going up.
Yep.
Well, think about it. I mean, I'm just going to guess. So his teammate was Paul George, has now been traded to Philadelphia.
Oh,
I'm
you're right,
guessing Paul
76 billion.
George.
76 billion.
Yeah,
I
I
bet
thought it
Paul
was
George
76.
has
You're
made 250 million in
Yeah.
his career. Would you go over? or
Paul
under?
George?
Yeah.
I'd go over that number.
Yeah.
That number's paltry. 250?
For career earnings.
Yes.
$250 million.
Yeah. I'd go over the number.
I'm going to Spot Rack right now.
I mean, he just signed a.
yeah, you're right. $305 million he's
Paul
made in
George
his career.
laughs at $250 million. He points his finger and laughs.
Oh, by the way, we need to talk about your camp. Can you
Yes.
fill us in on the camp? Because that's why he's here. Jordan Miller has a camp coming up.
Yep. So the idea of my camp, so my camp starts tomorrow. It's the 1st to the 3rd, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. But the whole idea and premise behind my camp, right? Growing up, you know, I loved basketball, but I never really necessarily had someone I could talk to who's kind of been through the ropes and who's kind of got to experience what I wanted to experience. And so the whole point, like I said, premise of my camp is for the kids to come in and be able to interact with me, see that I'm just a regular person just like them.
Where's the camp?
It's at Loudoun Valley High School.
Loudon Valley High
Yep, in
School
Percival,
starting
Virginia.
tomorrow.
Yep. And just to be able to kind of relate to them in a way, in the best possible way that I can, and to just kind of let them know, like, it's possible, you know, like at the end of the day, when I was their age, I didn't know I would be where I am now. And so I just want them to kind of get a feel for, A, to hear my story, but 2, to also know, like, you know, as cliche as it always sounds, you can really do, you know, whatever you put your mind to.
So when you were in 8th grade, what kind of a player were you before getting to high school?
Yeah, I was definitely I was unconfident. I would get really nervous before games.
And how tall were you then? Because your buddy said you
Yeah,
had a big time growth
For
spurt.
sure. Maybe I would say probably 5'10".
5'10" in
Yeah.
8th grade.
5'10" in 8th grade, yeah.
You're
And
playing AAU ball.
Yep, playing AU ball. I was playing for my middle school team, Blue Ridge. Yep, was playing with them. And just, you know, like being able, like I said, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but to be able to relate to them and have them know, like, if I really want to do this, I can. And just kind of fill them in, you know, with what the lifestyle, what it takes to get there, and the kind of dedication that you're going to need to make it.
So are there still openings for the camp?
Yeah, there's some last minute openings.
Okay, so kids can still
yes,
get
those can still sign up.
All right.
But you know, the big thing is, you know, I want every camper to enjoy their time there.
Sure.
And to just kind of get to experience a once in a lifetime experience.
Will you take him to the oyster bar to get chicken tenders?
I don't think he's doing that.
Yeah.
Well, good luck, man, and
I appreciate it.
congrats on the summer because you obviously played great. And good luck, and you know, whenever camp opens for the Clippers. I got good vibes on this year for you, man.
I appreciate
I
it.
got good vibes.
Yep,
I
hopefully.
mean, you don't. I mean, 25 a game is ridiculous. I mean, you were balling out this summer.
Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to control what I can control.
Yep.
And you know, all that is working hard. So
I was going to say you're working.
And what parents
You're
and
working your
campers
butt
can control is if they want to go to your basketball camp starting tomorrow at Loudon Valley High School, Google it. Jordan Miller Basketball Camp.
yes, sir.
Jordan Miller Basketball Camp.
Sounds like there's going to be a lot of one-on-one attention to the campers, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's different days. So like it's since it's 3 days, you can do a Friday session, Saturday session, or Thursday, Friday, or Saturday session. So if you can't make all the days,
are you going to teach the campers how to grow 5 or 6 inches in an off season like you did?
I wish I
become a
could.
stud?
If I could, the camp would be.
That's good genes there,
blow
buddy.
up.
That must be nice.
For sure.
Must be nice to have that.
Still waiting for that growth
Yeah,
spurt.
it's not going to
pace.
happen for us, Jimmy.
I've been waiting.
That ship has sailed.
My physician actually said I lost an inch. In my old age,
'cause
I'm
you're
shrinking.
old.